Welcome to Star Campus. Our topic today is how do I apply colors for translation and review? Wisdom is colorful. My name is Elke Fuchs and I work at Star Translation and Technologies in Germany, Sindelfingen. In this webinar you will see the color concept, the predefined coloring based on segments. Where can I set my colors? How do I apply colors and coloring independent from segments? Okay, let's start. First, we start transit. And we select the user role translator, since this will give us the best settings for doing my translation job. Now I select the last project opened, because this will be the project I want to show you the use and how transit works with colors. Okay, I open the language pairs. I open them all in one window. Here we go. Transit has a predefined color concept. This means we have green, which you can see here. We have red, which you can see here. We have yellow and blue. Everything which is green refers to the source language. Everything which is red refers to the target language. Yellow refers to terminology and blue refers to markup. First, let's have a look at the green and the red. So, everything which is green refers to the source language, and everything which is red refers to the target. These two colors do also occur in the source fuzzy window. Just take the time to have a look here. The first part of the source fuzzy window is green and the second part is red. This means that the part above is about the source language, and then this sentence is the target language, meaning this is the translation Transit can present us in a fuzzy match. We have two kinds of fuzzy matches. We have the ones based on the source, which is source fuzzy, and others which are based on the target. And according to the color concept, the target fuzzy window is red. Also, the use of green can be found here. We see the bars above or underneath, some kind of underlined in the new sentence and in the reference sentence. This means that here Transit can show us changes. It's textual changes and a formatting change. That you have a visual overview and you get the information you need very quickly. Transit marks this for you, and that you know this is a change in the source. It is marked in green. We can also have these bars in red. Let me show you. Here we go. I just call a fuzzy match, and here I can show you that this is the reference sentence, and we have here changes in the source, and Transit gives us here an additional line and adapts the numbers according to the new sentence. And when Transit does adaptation, it shows you those in red because it's a change in the target. Then we can also see in this fuzzy source window this icon. This is a green arrow, and the green, shows us, yes, it has something to do with source. And This icon stands for language direction. As you know, we have language pairs as reference material. These language pairs are translated files from transit projects. And a project has always a source language and maybe one or more target languages. And this is indicated in the reference material that this file in this language was a source or a target. And this can be shown here. So in this case, this sentence comes from a file, from a project, which had also English as source. Let me show you more examples, like here. Kirschen sind rot. And here also we have the green arrow, the green icon, which tells me, okay, the English was also the source language in the reference material. Here, neither English nor German was a source. Both were target languages. Oh, here. And here, it's red telling me, it's vice versa. In the reference material, German was the source and English was the target. So this fuzzy match comes from a file which was in that project a target language. Sometimes it matters and it's interesting to know where it comes from. And what's of course very nice that we can use the combination in both ways as reference material. Then we see something else in our fuzzy source window. It's again green and red, this one. Okay. For example, I have a fuzzy match here, and here this icon refers to a green file and a red file. This is the icon for reference material. This is the icon for a language pair. So if I double click here, I get an additional tab up here, and Transit shows me exactly the spot where my fuzzy match comes from. So I can see the context of the former translation, and I can decide, yes, if I would like to work with this fuzzy match. I can just close this additional tab by clicking here on this X. Okay, let's go a little bit further. Let me show you what the yellow is all about. We have here yellow under highlighting, and everything which is highlighted in yellow is found as terminology in the dictionary. So maybe you ask yourself, why is such a lot of things yellow in the source but nothing is yellow in the target? Transit all just exclusively highlights the terminology in the target when the segment is not translated. So if it finds something here, for example, it highlights it because this segment needs still to be translated. Then let's have a look at the terminology window. We have here the data record with the translation, and we have a letter here which is an A. Okay. Let me show you this example here. So we have carbohydrates highlighted in yellow because carbohydrates is found in the dictionary and can present us the translation Kohlenhydrate. Also, we have here a letter which is highlighted in yellow. This is if you want to insert the terminology at a spot you want to. If you are here and you just press alternate T, Transit will fill it in. But if you want to have it on some spot else, like here for example, you go A, you use the letter to fill it in. Let's go to the color blue. Blue always refers to markup. We can have blue here, which shows me that the word complex is in bold. And also the markup window is in blue, which shows me a little bit more information to the formatting I have in this segment. If you have done your translation, you can also work with the markup mode. So let me just show you. So I have done my translation. And now I just can turn on the markup mode. Transit highlights the formatted word in the source, which we can see here. And now what I do is I just mark the correspondent translation and press F11 to insert the markup. So it is, let me just show you again, it is F9 for starting the markup mode and letting Transit help us to do the formatting. I just mark what needs to be formatted. The only thing I need to know what is the translation of the blue highlighted string. And then I press F11 and here we go. This is our markup. This was the predefined transit next color concept. There is more with colors in transit. We can, for example, highlight segments due to a certain status. You do this here. View, colors. If I click on this, I have two possibilities. First, the info column, which refers to this column with the segment number and the status symbols, and the segments itself. For example, I can let Transit highlight the segments according to the current status. This looks like this. So we see that the pre-translated segments have another color than the one I have just translated. The same can be applied to the info column. I turn this off. Maybe this is too much for you, and I just can also highlight the info column. So this gives me quite a good view on how much is already done and what is still left to do. So to see the colors, we went here in the tab View Colors and turned on this one. We have here a little list of predefined possibilities of highlighting with colors. The next one would be internal repetitions. So this is this green color, and this is the internal repetition. So this helps me to know, yeah, I'm working on an internal repetition. So, and basically, this highlighting is based on the information on the segment, not of content of the segment. Okay, where does this color come from? If I don't like this green, I can change it. The change can be done here in the user preferences. Takes a while. Exactly here. Colors and fonts. We have seen, for example, we have had a look at the background of, where are we? Internal repetitions. This is the green. If we want to change this, we just click here and select something else, maybe a bright blue. And I save it and OK. And now all the internal repetitions are in a bright blue. So these colors are there and they can be changed. So it is just that we provide the colors as a standard in the standard installation package, but still you can change the colors. Okay. So we have all kinds of possibilities. Now I would like to go back here. We have talked about the current and the internal repetitions, and we have here one option left, which is called according to filter. What filter means in this context, segment filter. Okay. So basically we do a segment filter here. Also in the View tab, Create. Here, segment filter, Create. And for the coloring, it would be the segment Info dialog window. Okay, for example, I have prepared this language pair in that way that I have added some comments to certain segments. So when I want to have exclusively all the segments which have a comment, I can do a segment filter. So what I do is I go to segment info, go to with comments, and I can apply the filter and save the filter. I just give it a name. Maybe I want to reuse this filter. So and I do apply filter. And we now just see all the segments which have a comment. Comments are done here in the segment info window. For now, I'm okay with a markup window. I don't want to talk about this anymore. And as soon as I take one of those windows, I just can let go and position it somewhere else. So let me just make it bigger. So here can we give comments to the segment. Yeah, maybe you want to talk to the project manager again, or maybe you want to talk to the customer. This is very helpful if you want to exclusively see these segments. What you're lacking is the context. So if we want to focus on these segments, but we want to keep the context, we can use the filter just for highlighting these. So I switch off the filter, which is done here, and I go to View, Colors, Info column, and I go here according to filter. Now I get here my filter, my segment filter, which I have defined previously, and I open it. And all the segments which apply to the filter are highlighted in this, well, in this bright green color. Again, if we don't like this color, we can change it here. User preferences. And colors and fonts. It's all the way down. Background according to filter. Now we can change this. We can define any color we want to. And here we go. So we can show we can highlight only those segments which have a comment. Of course, we can have several segment filters and we can apply them as we want to. We have also another spot where we can work with a color or where we can highlight something. I call the Find and Replace window. It pops up. I position it here to the left side. I make it bigger so that I can see everything. Okay. We have here the possibility of highlight things when we search for them. So when we search for transit and we say highlight, transit will highlight it. Oh well, I should look for something which is really in the text. Here we go. And when you now go to Find Next, you have it very easy to see what transit has found. Again, this color can be changed as according to your needs. Then there is something else which is really nice and really interesting, especially for proofreading. I will switch to another project, which is this one. Okay. And I change to the project manager role because I want to show you export. This project is finished. This is done. And when I do the export, which means I create out of the translated language pair a Word file, I can color certain text according to the segment status. For example, current status. And when I start the export, and I go to the translated file, we can see it like this. There we see that we have strings which are still not translated. And we can see it at the first glance. We look at it because we have different colors. Again, these colors are are defined in the user settings. We get the coloring in the exported file when we set here the icon, and we can status after import or current status. Yeah, and when we do the export, Transit will color those. And the colors are also set here. Here we have all the background and here we have the export fonts for the different segment statuses. Yeah, this was about it I wanted to show you today. Thank you for your interest in this webinar. Let me show you what comes up next. We have in June, how do I organize my data for my needs? And in July, how can I make my work easier with machine translation? So, thank you for joining today, and bye-bye.